All right, so we're going to start at Luke 6 for you guys who haven't been here the past week or two. Luke 6, verse 31, and we'll go to verse 34. Treat people the same way you want them to treat you. If you love those who love you, what credit is that to you? For even sinners love those who love them. And if you do good to those who do good to you, what credit is that to you? For even sinners do the same. And if you lend to those from whom you expect to receive, what credit is that to you? Even sinners lend to sinners in order to receive back the same amount. Let's pray. Father, thank you, as always, for your word. Lord, I know that I learned a lot in study last week as well as this week. As I dig into this, Lord, I pray that this is something that these students learn, not just intellectually, not just a certain level of knowledge that they accrue or gain, but that what's going on in this room is one of those holy and sacred moments, not just because we're gathered together, but because you are meeting with us, and that your word is living and active, and that you are speaking to us through it. Lord, I ask that we believe that, and this is, again, not just some box that we check, but this would be worship, that we are worshiping you through your word and fellowshipping with you and each other in that way. Make this time fruitful. Lord, reveal areas where we don't love you the way we ought to, and areas where we don't love other people the way that we ought to, as we include love and what that looks like tonight. Thank you for your goodness, and thank you for your Son. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. All right, so let me start out by saying I'm going to flip to a couple of places tonight, maybe a little uncharacteristic of me. I'm going to flip to a couple of places that are different. So we'll do a little Bible drill, but that'll be no problem. You can follow along. Remember, we've got ice cream back there if you want it. Feel free to get up and dig in. All right. She's got dry ice right there if you decide you want to stick it in there and be a hero. Okay, so at root, things that we love. Let's talk about this. I called it the redeeming power of love. At root, we love things because they offer 5 fundamental things to us. Okay, I'm going to say that again to make sure you understand it, because I know some of you are distracted with ice cream. At root, we love things because they offer at least one of 5 different things to us. I talked with the adult Bible study that I taught on Monday about this same topic. They offer 5 things to us. Okay, if you're writing notes down, here they are. Chances are, if you love something in your life, it offers at least one of these 5 things. Number 1, value. Number 1, value. They give us a sense of self-worth. Now think about your relationships. That's the easiest way to go about this. Think about relationships that you have with people. Chances are, if you don't think that they benefit your self-worth, you probably are not friends with them. Or, put it like this, if they're tearing you down and not building you up, you're probably not going to stay friends with them very long, right? Right? Now, how many of us, let's be honest, I'm sure there's plenty of y'all, probably had issues in the past, maybe you're dealing with that now, where you have friends that are not really building you up. They're not really benefiting you. They're detracting from the overall value of your life, right? Yes, no? Okay, so, and how many of you guys would be honest enough to say that we've been that person, where I've been a bad influence on the people in my life? I've negatively harmed them in some way, and I've overall taken away from the quality of their life. That's value, number 1. Number 2 is satisfaction. They satisfy us, our need to be fulfilled. Okay? Chances are high, actually, that if you have a friend or any relationship that you keep voluntarily, I'm not talking about your mom or your daddy that you can't control. I'm talking about your friends. Chances are that they satisfy your need to be fulfilled. They offer something beneficial to you. How many of you guys have friends that you're like, they are an absolute stain of humanity on my life, and they absolutely bring no positive benefit to me at all? Newsflash, if that's actually true, today needs to be the last day you're friends with that person. Because friendships are supposed to be mutual. We talked about this in science this year, mutualism, where both organisms benefit. Right, students? Right, Cooper? No, you're always drawing yourself and everything else. Yeah. That's true. Caleb, you were asleep, but you know what? This is church, and your sins are remitted, my brother. So yeah, exactly. We don't have to talk about what y'all are doing in the places you shouldn't have been, in ways you shouldn't be doing. So here's the thing. They bring some level of satisfaction. If all they do is bring pain to your life, you probably don't want to be around them, and you probably don't believe they love you, and vice versa. You probably don't love them very much. Number 3, beauty. We are attracted to beauty. And I'm not just talking about like a beautiful woman or a handsome man. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about beauty that catches your eye and makes you captivated, enthralled by something that you find beautiful. Like a beautiful sunset. Like a beautiful work of art. Like a painting. Something that we know. Like you don't have to explain it. If I see Avery watching like a beautiful sunset and I walk up and I go, Avery, what are you staring at? Well, if she has to explain it, then it's really not that amazing and powerful, is it? She shouldn't have to explain the sun, Taylor. The sun. It's beautiful. Sunset. Sunrise. Okay? This week we had a new niece that was born a couple of days ago. Nobody has to say, wow, what are you guys so excited about, Mom and Dad? You just had a new baby. What's all the hubbub about? We had a new baby. A new child was successfully born into this life, into this world. We have a new child. That's something to celebrate, right? The beauty of it. Thought it was time to change classes. So, the beauty of that transformed sort of moment because of what's occurring. And then number 4 would be worthiness. We think they're deserving of our affections. Worthiness. Chances are we like something or we love something not just because it brings value, satisfaction, or beauty, but also worthiness to our life. They think that we believe that they are worth our time, or we believe that thing is worth our time. I don't care if that's Xbox. I don't care if that's working on cars, or if that's playing, video games, or spending time with your friends, or doing drugs, whatever it is that you think is worth your time. We all have something we believe is worth our time. Yes, every one of us. And if you don't know how to put your finger on it, let me help you. Whatever you spend most of your time doing, you probably think that's worth most of your time, right? Because we spend time the way that we spend money. We give it to what we think is worthy of our time and what we think is worthy of our money, right? Number 5, last one, safety. We love things because they make us feel safe. We love things because they make us feel safe. They make us feel free from need or want or abuse. They allow us to feel safe. They allow us to feel protected. How many of you guys have friendships? And I need you to think, quit being an insecure teenager for a second and think with your head and your heart here. How many of you guys have relationships with people? Friends, let's just say friends. You have friendships with people, and because of that existing friendship in hard times, you can run to them knowing that they're a safety blanket for you, that they can catch you when you're falling, when you're free falling, when life is going to pieces. I hope you at least have one friend like that. Hope you at least have one person that makes you feel safe. It doesn't have to be a friend. It could be a boyfriend or girlfriend. It could be a relative. It could be all kinds of relationships. But at least one person where you go, man, because I have that relationship, I know that the sea is not going to be so rocky. The sea is not going to be so choppy, and I'm going to be able to get through this. Right? So far, a thumbs up if you're good so far. You with me? Okay. So those are the 5 reasons, and those are 5 that I brainstormed. There could be more. But for the sake of brevity, 5 reasons that we love things. Okay? Let's jump into Luke 6:31. Now, treat people, we already said this, already read it, treat people the way you want them to treat you, or as you probably are familiar with, do unto others as you would have them do you, the old King James. Right? Now, a couple of things. This is the golden rule. I said it. I went back and watched myself this morning from last week. That was cringy. But one of the things that I figured out is we got right about to this point when we stopped. So I'm trying to figure out where we left off. So the golden rule. I told you last week it's been plastered all over Redwater Junior High for you guys who went through Redwater. you're familiar with it. We had it slapped up in some corny kind of weird graphic kind of poster everywhere. Do unto others as you have them do to you. Do you know that it's true? I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself. Do you know that it's true that there are no religions except Christianity where you are told to do positively to other people what you want them positively to do to you? In other words, the way they say it is stuff like, well, do not do Islam, for example, Muslims. In the Quran, it says, do not do to other people what you don't want them to do to you. Confucius and a lot of those Eastern philosophers and Taoism and things, they tell you, don't do this because bad karma will come back on you. Right, we talked about karma the other day, right? So, don't do this because you don't want that to happen. Now, I'm going to argue to you that that's not love, and I'm going to argue that what Jesus says is much higher than that. What Jesus is calling us to do, to love other people, to do to other people what we want them to do to us, much higher. Okay? Last week, for you guys who were here, and I know quite a few of you guys weren't, so let me kind of rehash this. It seems like everybody was here last week except for a couple is gone this week, and we've replaced them with a new group of people. So, we went through this, Len. I remember your face on some of this, so I know you're with me on this. We talked about how your parents or your guardians discipline you, right, Coop? We talked about your parents oftentimes discipline you in certain ways, but the problem is it teaches you to fear doing that same behavior, but it doesn't teach you to love doing the right behavior, right? Like if let's just use something absurd, okay? That way it'll get your attention. Let's say I go into the corner of the living room, Keaton's watching TV, and I decide to pee in the corner of the living room like a small puppy. Okay? Yeah. So she may take me and like grab me by the back of the bald head and rub my nose in it, and she may say, "Don't do that anymore. You know, shame, get in the kennel, whatever." Right? She may put a shock collar on me, or beat me with sticks, or whatever she decides to do. Okay? But the trouble is, and now think honestly here. The trouble is, just because I know that I'm going to get my nose rubbed in the pee the next time I do it, doesn't mean I'm going to want to not do it again. I just don't want to get the punishment. Right? I just don't want to be mistreated. I don't want to have the negative consequence. Right? So I think that makes sense. So the golden rule, the first time someone ever said that our goal is to treat other people as well as we would want them to treat us. That's what Jesus didn't say, but that's what Jesus meant. You listening? He's not just saying do good to other people. He's saying treat them so well that if you were them, you would be okay with how you were treating you. Right? Now, you don't have to flip here. You can if you want. Matthew 22, 34 through 40. Let me read it for you. But when the Pharisees heard that Jesus had silenced the Sadducees, they gathered together, and one of them, a lawyer, asked him a question, testing him, "Teacher, which is the great commandment of the law?" And he said to him, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind." Mark says, with all your strength also. This is the great and foremost commandment. The second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. Upon these two commandments hang the whole law and the prophets. Heard that before? I referenced it last week. Didn't really talk about it last week. Now you may be saying, Taylor, what does that have to do with love your neighbor as yourself? Or more importantly, what does it have to do with Luke 6:31? Treat people the same way you want to be treated. Everything. That's my answer. It has everything to do with it. The only way that you're ever going to love people is if you love them in light of the love that God has shown you, and you love Him first. Right? So it works like this. We love God. Then we love our neighbor as ourselves. Then we do to our neighbor what we would have them do to us. It's a chain reaction. Okay? Leviticus 19:18. We wrote this down last week. This is where we get the second greatest commandment in Matthew 22:39. Love your neighbor as yourself. Heard that before? Love your neighbor as yourself. So Jesus, in two different occasions, says, love your neighbor as yourself and treat your neighbor as yourself. Did I say this last week? Nowhere in the Bible are we commanded to love ourselves. We're commanded to love other people, and we're commanded to love God primarily, and then love other people. But it's assumed that we already love ourselves. I don't know about you, but, well, let me make an old reference that probably none of y'all get, but I'll try anyway. Anybody watch T.O., Terrell Owens, back in the NFL, wide receiver he played? Okay, you know him? Okay. Anybody know he was famous for doing a lot of weird stuff, like he said catchphrases like "get your popcorn ready," and he'd bring popcorn and throw it through his face mask on the sideline and stuff. Anyway, okay, so I knew it wouldn't work, but I tried anyway. Now, he had this phrase. He was kind of crazy, so he had this phrase he used to say all the time. He would say, "I love me some meat," but he would say it real ridiculous. "I love me some meat," like that. Now, you might be going, what are you bringing that up for? Well, because the Bible tells us over and over in both Old and New Testament that we love us some us. That you love you some you. That I love me some me. That we're all about us. Right? Our selfishness is one of the things that defines us very oftentimes, right? How many times do y'all get scolded or get in trouble by your parents at the house because they tell you you're being selfish? Or some version of selfishness? How many times do you hear something like this? AJ, share with your sister. A lot. I was trying to sound like your mom. Share with your sister. So Leah, share with your brother. Right? You hear that. And some of y'all are like, no, I'm great at sharing. Probably not. Probably not as much as you think you are. I mean, y'all hear that, right? I have to say that all the time. If we're doing something at school, I have to say things like, share that sheet of paper. Pass them a sheet of paper. What are you going to do with that extra sheet of paper? Draw on it, make an F? Like, just give them the sheet of paper. It's not yours. You're hoarding it. You're just being selfish. You're being lazy. Right? I don't have to explain that to you. So, Jesus says that if we are to love people right, we must treat them right. In other words, there's no such thing, you might write this down, no such thing as loving people while mistreating people. There's no such thing as loving people while mistreating people. No such thing as loving people while mistreating people. If we love our neighbors as ourselves, we will treat our neighbors as ourselves. That's the key of this verse that I think we miss. I think when we read it, we go, you doing that light thing again? When we read, that was for Lena. When we read this verse, we go, oh, it's just saying be good to other people. No. He's not saying be kind to other people. He's saying be as kind to those people as you want people to be kind to you. Be as patient with those people as you want those people to be to you. Right? It is not doing it so that then you can then go back. I want to say this to be clear. You don't, Lena's not like patient with Cooper because the Lord knows she has to be patient with Cooper. She's not patient with Cooper and then she says, okay, I'm trying to put this into practice. I'm trying to follow what Jesus said. I'm going to be patient. Cooper's getting on my nerves. Let me be patient. Let me treat him as I want him to treat me. And then 30 minutes later, she loses her cool and goes, Cooper, dadgummit, you were supposed to be patient with me because I was patient with you. It's not blackmail. Do you understand what I'm saying? You don't get to turn around and say, oh, because I treated you the way you want to treat me, or I want to treat you, you got to return it. Follow me? You don't get to say that. The point of this is one-sided love. And you might want to write that down somewhere at the top of your paper. It's one-sided love. One-sided love. It's 3 words now. At the top of your paper, one-sided love. In other words, most relationships you have in your life, almost all of them, I would say maybe all of them, you think, at least you think, that they're two-sided, right?
I give, they give. I love, they love. I'm patient, they're patient.
Right?
I'm kind, they're kind.
Like, you say things like,
I love them, they love me. We're a happy family.
Like there's this notion, am I wrong? I know I'm crazy, but am I wrong? We have this idea in our heads that everyone is supposed to give us respect. How many times y'all say that? Oh, I saw in the movies just the other day. I I'm fine with giving respect as long as I get respect. I'm fine with being patient as long as people are patient with me. I'm fine with being kind to people as long as they're kind to me. Do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. Yeah. Yeah, but that's a two-sided street. No, it's not. It's a one-way street that you get to walk down regardless of how they treat you. That's hard. It's very hard. But let me remind you, that's exactly what Jesus did all through the Gospels. Right? That's exactly how he loved you when you were unlovely. It's exactly how he loved you when you were dead in your trespasses and sins, apart from salvation in him. Good.
Yeah, I try to bring it back to the past.
Gotcha. Let me remind you, you're a mammal, not a fish. Okay, so notice that Jesus does not say that we need to not do to others what we don't want them to do to us. Okay, so listen, refocus. Okay, y'all are in La La Land. He's not saying that we don't do to other people what we don't want them to do to us. That's other religions. That's not the gospel. In the gospel, in the Sermon on the Mount here, we're commanded to love people in the best possible way that we would ever want to be loved in return. That means don't do the bare minimum. That means go above and beyond. That's tough, right? It's hard. It's so hard. If we treat people the same way we want to be treated, we will always show that we love people the way God has loved us. 1 Corinthians 13:4. Love is patient. So let me apply this to people who don't like you, people who hate you, people hard to love, even people who are easy to love. And let's be honest, most of us are not easy to love. We are prickly, thorny, difficult, rough around the edges. We are bags of contradictions. We change our mind all the time. We are full of hypocrisy. We say we love people, but we oftentimes are terrible at showing it. Well, let's be honest. You are more difficult. Can we have some healing in here tonight? You are more difficult to love than you think you are. I know I certainly am, and I already know I'm hard to love, but ask that woman in the orange or coral or whatever that is over there. I only have 3 cones in my eyes, you guys have 4. All I'm trying to say is this. Everyone in here is harder to love than you think you are. Can we agree to that? Because you think you're an adorable little Easter bunny. That's what you think in your head. You think most people assume that you are very easy to love and get along with and show compassion, kindness, grace, mercy, forgiveness. Truth is, well, bring your parents to the door at the end and we'll have a talk about it in front of you. They'll agree with me. Anybody who knows you will agree with me. Anybody who knows me will agree with me. We're not easy to love. These people have spent 9 months with me. A lot of these people right here in front of me have spent the better part of a year. 9 months seeing me every day. I'm not an easy person to love. You might think that, but it's because you're deluded. I'm not an easy person to love. I'm a bag of emotional hammers. And the truth, quit wheezing. The trouble is that there is a disconnect between who we think we are and who others see us as. Right? Now, love is kind. 1 Corinthians 3, 4, and 5. Love is kind. Think about the people that it's the hardest to be kind to. Those are the people you've been called to be kind to. It's not jealous. Yeah, jealousy doesn't come from love. Now, husband and wife, somebody trying to take your wife, take your husband, that's different. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fact that we feel jealous, you girls over there, we feel jealous all the time when one of our friends starts talking to one of our other friends a little too much, and they start talking to us a little bit less. And then we get the J word. Because the green-eyed monster. Because we're not loving them for what's best for them, we're loving them for what they can do for us. Yeah? I know it hurts, but it's true. If you're going to love people the way Jesus called you to love them, then your love must not be conditioned upon how they make you feel. Now, Lord have mercy, that's hard. So hard. People make me feel. I told y'all a story last week. I passed that Domino's 4-way again today, and I was like, I'm not doing it, Lord help me. I actually went a different way. I actually went through the light up there at McKnight so that I could avoid that area so I didn't have that happen. Y'all missed it, but basically I lost my salvation at a 4-way because I got angry at some guy who started doing like this to me, and I almost got out and fought him and got arrested. So, yeah, we're not going to revisit all that darkness. All I'm trying to say is this, is that, yeah, thank you. Whoever said that, thank you. I appreciate you. Sanctification is hard and it's slow. Now, my point that I'm trying to illustrate to you is this. If we're going to be patient and we're going to love people in a kind way, we're going to have to do it at our own expense. Right? Not jealous. It does not brag. I'm going to say that again for you people in the back. It does not brag. Love does not brag. Its job is not to elevate itself above other people. In fact, love's job is to lower itself below people so that it can serve and support people. Love's job is not to say, look at me, 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 me. Love's job is to say, how can I help you, 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 you? Got me? I said it last week because I listened to myself again today, and I'll say it again right now. The people who are most full of themselves are the people who often love Christ the least. Because people who are satisfied with who Jesus is are not full of themselves, and because they're empty, it's hard to pop a balloon that has no air in it. See, our egos, the freedom of self-forgetfulness, our egos are like balloons that have way too much air in them. And when you stick a needle at all to that balloon, it's always in danger. It's always running from the needle because it's scared of getting popped. But if a balloon has no air in it, it can't be popped. Your ego should be airless. It shouldn't be full and drawing attention to itself. It should be down at the bottom with no air so that it can't get offended and it can't get downtrodden and it can't be destroyed by when people treat you poorly. Right? Now here you go. It is not arrogant. Do we have a problem with arrogance? Trick question. Do we have a problem with arrogance? Pride? We don't like to use that word. We have a problem with pride, do we not? If I come up and I call you 5 different names that I can't repeat at church or on camera, I can tell almost immediately, and you definitely can tell in your own heart how that makes you feel. If you get defensive, very high chance, and that's 99 out of 100 people, very high chance that you're only offended because I have wounded your ego. You're offended because you're not full of love, you're full of pride. Right? I should be able to come up to you and curse you like a dog. And you go, you know, that was harsh, but you're right. Everything you said was true. Because you are that bad sinfully on your own, right? I mean, or is this a self-help gospel we preach? I mean, we need Christ because we're absolutely lost without Him. Right? Some of y'all are like, no, I'm doing pretty good myself. No, you're not, brother. No, you're not. Okay, it does not act disgracefully. Well, that's a tough one. I act disgracefully all the time. I'm a daggum disgrace. Ask my parents. I'm a disgrace. I'm an embarrassment. I'm a shame. I'm a stain. How many times does my mom, AJ, I know you with me. How many times does my mom say stuff like this to me? I'm 31 years old, and she said this to me the other day. I didn't raise you like that. Ever hear that? AJ, I didn't raise you like that, son. That's not how I raised you. Y'all hear that? Y'all ever hear that? Son, daughter, I didn't raise you like that. I didn't raise you to act like no fool. Mama didn't raise no fool. Mama didn't raise you to act like a moron, Taylor. But what do? Go out and act like a moron, right, Mike? I'll go act like a dadgum moron. Why? Because I like the attention to be on me rather than him. More of me equals less for you. More of me, when I give you myself instead of Christ, I'm hurting you. People, I know it's going to be hard for 4th, 5th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th graders. I don't think we really have any of the old ones here today. I know it's going to be hard for you, but people don't need more of you. They need more of Christ. They don't. You're not the solution to their problems. And if you find some girl, gentlemen, or if you find some boy, ladies, that they start saying stuff like, oh my gosh, you are all the solution to all of my problems. Run. Run. Why? Because it's a lie and they're making an idol. They're making a god out of you. And you suck at being a god. You suck at being your own God. How can you be someone else's God? Right? Some of y'all are like, no. I'm pretty good at it. You haven't seen me. I'm killing it. I'm lacing it up and I'm knocking it out of the park, dude. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. Now, next one. It does not seek its own benefit. Now, this is the essence, in my opinion, for our topic tonight of what love really is. It does not seek its own benefit. Everything you do, listen to me. Everything that you do, if you are loving people, doing unto others as you would have them do to you, and if you're loving people the way you've been commanded to, love your neighbor as yourself. Leviticus 19:18. If that's true of you, you can ask yourself basically one question. Why am I doing what I'm doing towards that person? And if you want to write a second question down, it would be this. Whose benefit am I seeking? Am I seeking what's best for them, or am I seeking what's best for me through them? You got me? Michael got me. What about the rest of y'all?
Yeah.
Why am I doing what I'm doing towards that person? Am I trying to manipulate them? Am I trying to hurt them? Am I trying to use them? Am I trying to get something out of them for my own benefit? How many times do we do this with friends? How many times do we do this in romantic relationships? And I don't have to get into all the weird, nasty stuff, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. We manipulate people, especially in relationships. Guys, notorious for this. Manipulating a girl to get something that you want and then bouncing. Be careful what the motive of your heart is. Ask yourself, why am I doing what I'm doing towards that person? And if the answer is, for me, repent, change. If the answer is for them, probably, hopefully, cautiously keep doing what you're doing. And ultimately the answer should be so that I can display Christ to that person. Right? So that one is the best one, in my opinion, for us tonight. It is not provoked. It does not keep an account of wrong suffered. In other words, it doesn't keep a tabulation of all the ways they wronged you. I have addressed this before. Let me say it again briefly. If you are keeping a record of wrongs, Lana, I'll just use you because I know you too. And I'm not saying Lana does. Lana's actually, she comes across as like sometimes judgmental, but Lana's a very forgiving and loving person. No, that's you, kid. So she is. I'm just kidding. She is a very loving, and I mean that. I'm not buttering you up. You know, I'm always being honest with you. Like Lana, you love people that are hard to love. I think you're good at this more than you realize. And so Cooper, right? You do boneheaded stuff all the time, right? You do dumb stuff. We all do. You do dumb stuff, and it makes her mad, right?
You could ask her.
I don't need to. You do dumb stuff that makes her mad, right? But Lana also gets mad real easy. So you do dumb stuff that gets her mad, right, Lana? Be honest. Are there ever times where you go, that's the first time this month he said that exact same stupid thing. I'm not letting it go one more time. Do you keep a record in your head? Oh my gosh, Cooper, that's the 10th time. How many times do we do? Keaton does this to me all the time. I'll ask a question, and she's like, that's the third time you've asked me a question today. Are you not listening? Are you stupid? Right? And your mom, Evelyn, if I told you once, I told you 10 times. Right? If I told you once, I told you 100 times. AJ, how many times I got to tell you, AJ? Does this sound familiar? Some of y'all are like, yeah, you've been at my house. So, we all know what this is like, right? We all understand that we oftentimes don't love people well because we're keeping a record of sins in our head. We're keeping a record of what they do wrong in our heads. And the next time, and ladies, I'm not being sexist, but y'all are the worst at this. Y'all are the worst at this. Hear me out. The worst, everyone does it, but ladies do it a lot. Like, they just bring up like, you said that? I remember when you said that 12 years ago. We were children when I said that last time. Doesn't matter. I remember. Right? You said that, and I told you never to say that again. And it's been 12 years, 147 days, 6 hours, 5 minutes, and 12 seconds since you said it. But I remember when you said it last time. But yet we read over and over that the gospel is all about how Jesus, in his death, burial, and resurrection, has cast our sin as far as the east is from the west. And that he's thrown it into the sea of forgetfulness, and that he doesn't bring that up anymore. That Jesus, hey, listen, look at me. If you're truly a Christian here tonight, when was the last time, and I hope if it hasn't been in a while, I hope it's now. When was the last time that you thanked him for the fact that he doesn't constantly bring up all of your sins and your failures and throw them in your face? He died for them. He knows them better than you. He knows them better than your mama. He knows them better than your spouse, your friend, your boyfriend, girlfriend. He knows them better than the devil who accuses you. He knows them all, and he never once brings them up and throws them in your face because he has redeemed them. He has paid for them. If you're going to love people like Jesus, you've got to stop throwing the old stuff in their face. Forgive them 70 times 7. Any of y'all struggle with that? Keaton's good at this because she can't remember what she had for lunch today. So she forgets it. She's like, I don't remember nothing that happened yesterday. I don't remember what you said. I don't remember what we ate. I don't remember who I am. Like, hey, but me, I got that steel trap memory. And I bring stuff up all the time that I shouldn't bring up because I'm not loving her the way that I ought to. I'm loving her in a way that makes me feel vindicated, that makes me feel validated, makes me feel like I have the right to lord something over her. I don't. I'm not her God. I'm not her judge. I don't get to say what happens to her. Thank God for her. Thank God I'm not my own judge. Right? Because your worst enemy is the person who looks you in the mirror every day, right? Right? Blame other people all you want, but you're your biggest problem. No. It does not rejoice in unrighteousness. We talked about this small group last night. It does not rejoice in unrighteousness, meaning that it doesn't celebrate wickedness. It doesn't celebrate sin. Listen to me. Listen. Listen, Linda. Saw her this morning in Walmart. She didn't recognize me because my hair was bald. And I didn't say anything. I walked right past her. Now, my point is, that's just for you Redwater folks. My point is, Jonah, you all right? Okay.
It's very hot.
I know, look at me. You see all this? So, my point is this. Now, listen to me carefully. It does not rejoice in unrighteousness. If you have a friend that is leading you into sin, they are not loving you, period. And if you have a friend who you are leading into sin, you are not loving them, period. Point blank, period. I don't care if it's your family, your romantic relationships, your friends, what other kind of relationships you have, it doesn't matter. If you're leading them into sin, our actions, I could give 1,000 examples on this, but your actions, the way you talk to people, if your language is coarse and crude and violates Ephesians 4:29, where it talks about unwholesome talk coming out of our mouth, if it violates Philippians 4, where it tells us that we should think on the good things, if you're talking in a nasty, inappropriate, hateful, slanderous way with other people through your mouth, that's the easiest way we do this, you're not loving that person. If you're engaging in gossip with people, you're not loving that person. And you're not loving the person you're gossiping about. If you're engaging in discussion that's inappropriate on some level, however it is, that's not loving that person. If you're tempting them, you're not loving that person. It says it does not rejoice in unrighteousness, but rejoices with the truth. The truth ultimately is Christ. He said, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father except through me. So you should be pointing your friends towards Christ, not dragging them away from Him. You high schoolers, and almost everybody in this room is going to be a high schooler here, and that's terrifying. 1 month. So, Michael, you're one of the older kids in the group. How many times have you seen people drag people off into bad situations, into temptation, into sin? And they say, I'm your friend, I'm here for you. And they're destroying them by the influence that they're pulling. You've seen that, right? Every high school kid has seen that. We all know that. You've seen it. I mean, we all have seen it. And you guys have seen it too. It's just, it's harder to spot at junior high level. But at high school level, you can see it. You can see birds of a feather flock together. And lots of people lose their lives every day because of the friends they hang with. Happens all the time, does it not? I don't want that to be you. I don't want you to be in jail one day because your friends led you down a path of sin. You might want to write this down. If you're not pushing your friends towards Christ, you're dragging them away. If you're not pushing your friends towards Christ, you're dragging them away. We love people by being kind to people that we cannot be kind to naturally. Jesus says that all the law and the prophets hang on these two commandments. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. There are 613 commandments in the Old Testament. He said, just like two nails in the wall, you hang these two nails in the wall, love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, love your neighbor as yourself. Stick those in the wall of your life, and then the whole law hangs on top of those like a picture frame. But if you're missing one of them, it falls. If you're missing both of them, the picture falls. The only way to obey the law, and Jesus will talk about this more later in Matthew 5, when we get on down into the Sermon on the Mount further, he'll say, if you want to not commit adultery, you got to love that person. If you want to not commit murder in your heart, you got to love that person. If you got to want to not steal and covet and false witness and slander, then you got to love that person. But in order to love that person right, like yourself, and do to others you haven't done to you, you got to love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Right? See, we put the cart before the horse. We say, we've got to treat people right, but we never tell ourselves why we've got to treat them right. And we never tell them how we're going to treat them right, or what is the means by which we do it. You love people because you first love God with everything that you have. That's the only hope you have. I wrote this down. The only way people know is if we show. The only way people know is if we show. And of course, what I'm saying is the only way people know we love them is if we show them we love them. Again, I said it last week. Would it be better to take my wife out on an elaborate date or on some event that I know she loves, that I planned and put time into to demonstrate my love specifically to her, or just bring her for like 3 days a bouquet of roses every day and throw them at her and go sit on the couch? Yeah, I mean, it's a no-brainer. We all understand the fact that I can give her roses all I want, but if the roses don't come from my heart, she knows it and she doesn't care. Why would she care? Let me ask you a question. No, let me not ask you. Let me tell you a statement. That roses example I just gave is like you being a quote-unquote good person for the Lord. If you give him the good things out of your life just simply because you're afraid of giving him bad things and going to hell, he doesn't accept that gift like my wife doesn't accept that gift either. He needs you to love him. That's the greatest commandment. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. You are commanded to love him. I'm commanded in Ephesians 5 to love that woman. Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. That's what the Bible tells me. It didn't say, if you feel like it today, Taylor, love your wife. And by the way, every second of every day that I don't love her the way that I ought to, I'm sinning. And that's on me. The Bible commanded me to love her, but more importantly, the Bible, by the way, how am I ever going to love her if I don't first love him? No chance. No chance. Why? Because I automatically am full of love for myself. And I said this to the ladies and gentlemen that I taught Monday at the adult Bible study, but if your heart's so full of love for yourself, how does it have any room for love for other people? If you're so in love with yourself, Lana, you'd be a terrible friend and be a terrible girlfriend if you were so absorbed in yourself that you never had time to love and serve Cooper. Or any of your friends. We all would be, nobody wants to be around somebody who's self-absorbed, do they? I mean, seriously. You ever had somebody tell you that? I know I'm asking a personal question. You ever had somebody say, you're really self-obsessed. Like, you are really, like, into yourself. You love you some you. Like, You ever had somebody say that? I have. People tell me that all the time. Now, that's one insult that's not really true. Most insults are true about me, but that one's not really true. It's just that I don't love people very much. It's just that I struggle to love people like I'm called to. That's why this hits so hard for me. I'm called to love you guys. That's why I'm here. That's why the Lord put me here. And I do love you. I do. I love every person in this room. I do, but I don't love you like I ought to love you. Right? Why? Why? You should know the answer by now. I don't love you like I ought to love you because I don't love him like I ought to love him. Right? So far, so good, making sense? Kylie, good? Now, if you love people as ourselves and treat them the way we want to be treated, we will never break the law. Now think about that. If you love people perfectly, which you never really will, but if you love people perfectly because you love God perfectly, you'll obey the law automatically, every single of the 613 commandments. Never be broken. Because Jesus said the whole law is about love. We must first love God with all of ourselves, and we will be able to be free enough, and that's the key, to love other people as we've been called to love them. The key to being free from others' approval. How many of you guys struggle with that? And don't lie. How many of you guys struggle with craving other people's approval? I'm putting my hand up to encourage you. I don't have that problem. So, I'm saying you should be brave, be truthful. I don't have that problem because I'm a jerk. But it's normal. So don't condemn yourself. It's normal. People battle with that. I'm a psychopath. That's why I don't have that problem. But it's normal to crave other people's approval. But what do? We make gods out of other people's approval, right? And we bow down and oh my Lord, have mercy. How many times have I've got a back brace on? How many times have I seen this at school? Y'all seen this at school. Kids do stuff they know is wrong, and they know that they don't want to do, and they don't want to be a part of just because they want to look cool. All the time. Because they want to fit in with people all the time. Right? And it ain't just kids, it's adults too. Adults do it, everyone does it. We say things. Oh my gosh, I wish you could see this. The way that we talk even is so, like, we change our vernacular. We change the way we talk depending on who we're talking to, right? We might use a little more slang if that person uses slang, or we might use different terms if that person comes from a different area or something like that. Like, we just try to blend in with people all the time, right? You know what I'm talking about. And we look fake in the process. Why? Because we crave their approval. Yes? No. Some of you are like, nah. Well, look closer. You might. Kids y'all's age, obviously I teach 8th graders, kids, a lot of you guys, like, it's the thing that they worship more than anything in the world. Is fitting in and being considered lovable, likable, cool. And kids kill themselves every day because they feel like they're not those things. Let me tell you a secret that may save your freaking life one day. The only way to be free of other people's approval of you is to know and believe deep down in the most dark, deep corners of your soul that you have already been approved of in Christ. And that He has approved of you by His sacrifice, and you don't need to work for other people's approval. I have seen so many kids want to end their own life. And that woman has seen a lot more than I have. She sees them every day. They want to end their own life because the world is just too hard on them, and they can never live up to the world's standards. Right? The remedy for that is Jesus. It's not being a jerk, by the way. It's not being apathetic and turning down your love meter till it goes all the way off. It's not turning down your care meter and saying, It's not the old stupid thing we used to say, I'm rubber, you're glue, whatever bounces off of me sticks to you. It's not that. That's bullcrap. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. That's bullcrap too. And you know. Words do hurt, and people's disapproval does hurt. But the only way that you will ever be free from that, and I hope you hear, if you don't hear anything else I'm saying, I hope you hear this. It could save your life. The only way you'll ever be free from that is if you know that Christ has already cherished you and approved of you because of his sacrifice, and that the only person whose approval you actually need, you already have it, and you don't have to work for it. Do I want my wife to approve? Do I want to go home and ask my wife, hey, how was the lesson tonight? And her say, that was fantastic. The best one you ever heard? Yes, I do. And when she craps on me, as she often does about it, it hurts my feelings. But you know what? I get over it. And you know why I get over it? Because I know that I've already got the approval of the only one who matters. And I want her approval, but I don't need her approval. I don't even need my own approval. Because there's tons of stuff that I'm going to do wrong. There's tons of stuff I said tonight. There's tons of words I go back and watch this and go, you shouldn't have said that to 15, 14-year-old kids. You jackknow. Why'd you say that? You monster? But you know what? I'm not condemned because I already have the approval of the one that matters. Some of y'all need that more than the next breath. You need to believe that more than your next breath. You need to be free in Christ because some of you are chained to people's approval. And you don't see them, but you carry them around, and you can hear the clanking and the dragging of the chains everywhere you go. You can be free. If the Son sets you free, you're free indeed. Jesus says that if we stopped and understood that we must be willing to see that others are just as vulnerable as we are, we would love them in a way because we're all just hurt and broken and scared people. And they're no different than we are. How much we love people is directly related to how much we love God. Let me say that again. How much we love people is directly related to how much we love God. She messaged me on here and said, where'd your hair go? So, how much we love people is directly related to how much we love God. If you love God a lot, great potential to love people a lot. If you love God a little, great potential to love people a very small amount. Why? Because your eye is on yourself instead of Him. There is no greater freedom than in loving people in humility and self-sacrifice. It has been said that all the problems in the world, listen to this, we're only on page 3. It has been said all the problems in the world would disappear if we all simply made it our goal to do this command faithfully. If every person in this room, if every person in the world loved God with all their heart, soul, mind, and strength, and then loved each other as ourselves and do unto others as we'd have them do to us. Every sin, every strife, every problem, we'd put away all the nuclear weapons. All the prisons would be opened up and people would come out. All the violent crime in our streets would be gone immediately. Immediately. We wouldn't have to lock our doors at night because people wouldn't break in and steal. We wouldn't have to worry about all these passcodes at our bank accounts because cyber criminals take all our money and our identities. We wouldn't have to worry about rape and murder. We wouldn't have to worry about gang violence. We wouldn't have to worry about pick your poison. We wouldn't have to worry about any of it. Why? Because we'd be loving each other as ourselves and we would do to other people as we've been called to do. You ever thought about that? Why don't you start trying to make this place a lot more like heaven by loving God with all of you what you are and then loving other people as yourself? You can do that. I mean, it's going to be really hard. You're going to have to die to yourself every day, deny yourself and the love that you have, your obsession with yourself. Yeah. It's going to be difficult, but you know, let me say this to you. I've had 2 or 3 people in the last week, and y'all need to hear this. I've had 2 or 3 people in the last week compliment our youth group. And one of the things they say about our youth group that I'm proud of you for, and this is not me, this is you, is how kind we are to each other in this youth group. But because if you've been in other youth groups before, you know that a lot of times they're not very kind to each other. They're very kind of backbiting and gossipy, and there's this level of like disrespect that kind of goes under the radar. And I don't see a lot of that here. And there are adults that are noticing that, and I want you to know that. I want you to be commended, and I applaud you for that, because that's you. That's not me. That's you. I'm hateful. You're not being hateful. Good for you. Keep that up. People notice that, and people see you guys loving each other. And hey, guess what? That's making a difference with the adults that watch that. Keegan said it the other day. Somebody else said it. People that don't even sit in here are realizing hey, there's something different about those kids in that youth group. And you know what I would like to think is that these kids are trying to love each other as they want to be loved, and they are trying to do to others as they want to have it done to them. Right? And that's, again, thank you to you guys. Because if our faith is not put into action, as Tim talked about the other day, if our faith is not put into action, then how do people know we have it? If we want them to know, then we got to show it. Right? This requires we see the eternal goal of salvation. We got to have an eternal perspective on why we're doing what we're doing. When facing persecution, ask what your goal is. If your goal is about you, change your goal. Love other people for their own sake, not for yours. Love other people because they are valuable, not because you don't want to get in trouble for mistreating them. How many times do we see bullies stop bullying people because they either get beat up or they get in trouble and they don't want to get in trouble again? It's not because they love people. Right? Don't obey because of fear of punishment, but because you delight in doing good for other people's sake. Don't violate others because you're scared of the consequences. How many times do we do that? Oh, I don't want to go commit that crime. I was needing some money the other day, and I pulled up to the ATM, and I was like, $20, $40, $60, $80 in another amount. I thought, I need a lot more money than what I got in this account. If I took a crowbar and a little bit of elbow grease, I might could get something out of this ATM, or maybe I could drag that mug off behind me with a chain or something like these ghetto people do in the hood. We see this all the time, right? Maybe I could take that money and just smoke in the Bandit. That won't make sense to you. Get up on out of here, right? But what stops us most of the time from doing the wrong things? Back to this again. What stops us from doing the wrong things is scared of getting caught. Right? We're scared of the consequences. That's not love. That's not loving other people. And it's certainly not loving God. Loving God says, I don't want to violate Him and His commandments, and I certainly don't want to violate other people. I don't, after this is over, I don't walk up to Lana and go, you know, Lana, I want to beat your face in. And then she says, because it's Lana, she says, well, go for it, bud. What's stopping you? And my answer shouldn't be, because I'll go to jail. My answer should be, because I love you and I don't want to violate your face. I don't want to destroy you. I don't want to beat you into oblivion. Right? Not for me, for her. I don't want to hurt Lana. It's not complicated, but we have this in our mind like, something's going to happen to me. You are a selfish son of a gun if that's the way you reason. I don't want to do that. That's a serial killer mentality. I don't want to do that because I don't want to get caught. No, you don't want to do that because you don't want to hurt that person. Because you want to love that person and serve that person. I want Lana's face kept intact so she's not in the hospital. And she can go out and live her life according to what we're learning here and love other people. Did you laugh at that? Did you laugh at that comment?
No.
Someone did. Okay, and they will be found out. So here's the thing. Sorry, that was wild. Only when we love people for their sake will we love them at all. Listen to me. If you listen to me, Evelyn, hey, quit having third person embarrassment. If you love people for your sake, you don't love them at all. If I was you, I'd write that down. Yeah. If you love people for your sake, you don't love them at all. If you love people for your sake, you don't love them at all. I don't walk up to Lana, to use that same example, I don't walk up to Lana after service and go, you know, you're really lucky I didn't bash your face in. Like, I don't say that, and then when she goes, well, why would you do that? Or why did you not do that? I don't say, well, because I didn't want to get in trouble. She doesn't leave going, man, I love Taylor. He's such a kind person. Like, she goes, well, I guess self-preservation won again, and my face is okay because of that. Like, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Like, nobody, but we do that. We just don't say it out loud. We don't do things because we're scared of what's going to happen to us. And that's insane. That's evil, is what it is. It's evil. And I think we use people, and we would never tell them this, but you're always working an angle with people in your life. I mean, let's be honest. You're working angles. You're trying to get something out of them. You're trying to get them to do something. You're trying to get them to think a certain way. You're trying to get them to feel a certain way. You're trying to get them to agree with you on something, and you're working that angle. And it's not right, because you're trying to manipulate them. That's not right. It's not right. If you manipulate people, it's because at that moment you're not loving them. So I'll say it again. Only when we love people for their sake will we love them at all. If you love people for your sake, you're not loving them. All other loves are loves of convenience and loves of benefit. All other loves are loves of convenience and loves of benefit. Okay? Verse 32, Jesus said, if you love those who love you, what credit is that to you? I love this. I wrote down, name 5 people in your life that you love in a self-sacrificing manner. 5 people. Most of us don't have 5 people. I don't think I have 5 people. Truth be told, most days, I don't even have one person. Truth be told, I'm far more interested in what I want and what I think is best for me. This is very simple, but it's also way harder than you think. Hey, what about this? I'll ask you this again. Do you have at least one person in your life that hates you? Some of y'all, you're like me, and you're like, it'd be easier to just ask who doesn't hate you. So do you have somebody in your life that hates you? Raise your hand if you have at least one person you think actually would read your obituary in the paper tomorrow and go, thank God. Oh, Lord, thank you for taking them to wherever they're going. Right? So, man, y'all some young folks to have some people hate you like that. That's pretty awesome. Mad respect. Okay, so I've been working on it for a long time myself. So now, let me say it this way. That person, when Jesus is talking in verse 32, if you love those who love you, what credit is that to you? You don't get points for loving people who love you. That's what Jesus said. Your best friend that y'all love, y'all just love each other. Oh my gosh, I love her. She's such a blessing in my... Not that person. That's not who we're talking about. They don't count. Stop thinking about that person. They don't count. I'm talking about the person where all of y'all just raised your little hate-filled paws a second ago and said, I got at least one person that hates my guts. Almost everybody in this room raised their hand. I'm talking about that person. That's who I want you to think of. Not the, oh my gosh, Avery, I love you. Oh my gosh, Kylie, oh my gosh. Not that. You get 0 credit for that. Jesus said, even sinners love those who love them. You get no credit for loving people who love you. Jesus is saying you're called to love people who hate your guts. How you doing at that? You winning on that front? I hope you are. By the way, this is uniquely Christian. No other religion teaches you to so much as lift a finger in the service, like Luke 10 and the Good Samaritan beat up on the side of the road. It's one thing to help somebody you don't know, and it's another thing to help somebody you love. But it's an entirely different thing to hate someone that you have been wishing for their destruction, and you find them in their destruction, and you're called to love them and save them physically, emotionally, mentally, whatever. Totally different. That love is Christian. Anything less than that love is not Christian. You don't get credit. You don't prove that you're a disciple of Jesus by loving people who already are fans of yours. Don't mind that. So, just my boy having a conniption. So, does that make sense? You don't get credit you don't get to, listen, you frequently feel like you serve people. And you do it easily, and you go, wow, I'm such a kind person. I serve those people. They're wonderful. I love them. They love me. You don't get credit for that. You don't get credit for serving people who would do the same for you. You get credit for serving people who might, as Jesus said earlier in this passage, slap you in the face and you have to turn the other cheek or take your cloak and take your tunic. Those people, that's who he's talking about. He's saying you've got to love the people that are going to then retaliate against you for your love with hatred. That's craziness. The only way we do that is by submitting to the Holy Spirit and by loving the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And only then will you be able to love your neighbor as yourself. By the way, Luke 10, that parable, the Good Samaritan, who's your neighbor? Jesus asked the question, who's your neighbor? I'm going to ask you the same question. What's the answer? Who's your neighbor? Not Mr. Rogers. Who's your neighbor? Won't you be my neighbor? Keaton is giving an incorrect answer at the back, just so everyone knows. She's saying everyone. Okay? And that's true in the hyper-spiritual sense. But what Jesus meant in Luke 10 with the parable of the Good Samaritan is the neighbor is someone close to you. Proximity-wise, near you. I have a Muslim neighbor. A whole family of Muslims. I sat in my driveway today and I thought, what am I doing to love those people? Do I even so much as pray for their salvation? Not most of the time. Do I ever, God forbid, knock on their door and say, hey, can we trade in your Quran for the Bible? Hey, can you submit to the Lord Jesus for salvation so you don't burn eternally because you have the false Jesus, you have the wrong view of who God is? Do I even ask them? Do I even ask them what they believe? No, I don't. I'm not loving them. I say, no, I love them. Yeah, no, you don't. Love is a verb. Remember, you might want to write that down. Love is a verb. Okay? A neighbor is somebody close to you in proximity. Let's write that down and then we're going to call it quits. A neighbor is someone close to you physically. A neighbor is someone close to you physically. What?
Neighbor.
N-E-I-G-H-B-O-R. Board. Hey, pipe down, dude. So,
I hope we have a science teacher next year that wastes time like you do in this class.
thanks, Caleb. I hope I have students who sleep in my class like you do, boss. So, let's,
So we wasted whole classes listening to stories and playing games.
you play games. Let me ask you before we seriously wrap it up. First of all, did you learn anything? Can you apply some of this to your life? Secondly, I've been saying this, I've been forgetting this. Please, before you walk out of here, snap that QR code. We haven't done this in weeks. Please, Lana, Brian, you do that. That's you too. Please snap that for me and fill that out. I don't care if you do it before you have to walk out, while I'm praying, whatever. Let me ask you something I don't do a lot. Is there anybody